All right. So we doing our first show, Benjamin's in Business, and we got some guests in the studio. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keith Warner. Very nice to meet everyone.
Rhonda Burke, the lady of the group I see here. I'm kind of surrounded by all this this male.
The boss of the group. You mean the boss of the group?
Queen.
Rhonda Burke.
I'm Kevin Pace.
Good. So we're here to discuss a little bit of the topic today is how do we raise our children from adolescents to adults, and how do we let go? When do we know when to let go and talk about detailed about how, are we babying our adult kids too much?
Probably.
I think that's what we are discussing today. Me and Keith had a conversation earlier, and we were just talking about how once they turn 18, 19, 20, when do we let go and let them have, small failures in their life? And when do we step in before a big failure happens?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I don't even know if we've done that yet, being that our children are, one is getting ready to be 25, we have a 30 and a 32, and we just had our first real family discussion, and I don't know if we could even say forever if we've ever had a discussion like that just last weekend, and it came out that I think we're still baby. I know I am. I probably will always do that, but again, I'm a mom, and that's what we do. So from the father's standpoint, I think you guys let go more than moms do. And correct me if I'm wrong, but.
And I think it's male, female, right? With the son, you let go a little earlier. You're probably much more tougher, if you will, on your son. And with the daughters, you're always almost there straddling the line.
Well, I think I was told I was tough on regardless.
Well, see, for the
but
mom, it's a
not.
different relationship, right?
Yeah.
And in your relationship, you are definitely the hammer, right? So as we really start to think about this, he's the chill, easygoing one. He probably comes in to back your play when things go a little bit too far, but for the most
Definitely the chill, easy one.
correct.
I'm the mean one.
Well, with the boys, I was a little harder than the girls.
Yeah.
I mean, and the game really got us to that point. I mean, me and Trey would go at it through the game.
Right.
I'm coaching. I was just telling Mike, it wouldn't even be Trey's fault, but I would blame him. Like he would push the ball down the court, throw it to Jared to catch at the top of the key and travel. Like, he's a big man. Why you give it to him that early? He like, I didn't travel. Jared did. You know what I mean? So I would always be tough on Trey because I knew at some point he gonna get a tough coach. And he did. Satch wasn't easy to play for. I mean, he gonna keep you accountable for everything. So I think our kids, we almost raise them differently to what they are. I mean, what you think, Pace? What's yours?
I think for me, I have a unique perspective because I raised my three oldest sons. I was the parent in the household raising them.
Right.
And then I know how the dynamics of being the outside parent as well.
Okay.
So, but what I learned is what, like, my mom, see, I just look at stuff too. So foundationally, like a 2-parent household, those are the kids to get baby the longest.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just a fact.
No question.
So, but I had a different perspective. Like, my mom always told me, she gave me responsibility early to fail, so I could fail.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know what failure looks like. And people will be like, no, let them, because then you know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, your first big failure when you've never failed is a catastrophe.
Yeah. Well, our baby girl just had it. So basically,
I look at you like,
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I got you. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so my sons were independent early, and I let them fail. I let them do things. And so they've been gone.
So the felon, kind of go in detail on that. I mean, was it a big failure, or would you step in before they made a huge failure? Is it small losses?
I'm being too dynamic in my choice of terms, so I'm going to say this.
yeah.
I don't want to say failure. Right.
Okay.
That's not a good term.
Okay.
I would just want to say, if I had to say anything, it's a bad decision.
Okay.
It's a bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
because you may have been able to do something. Sometimes things fall downhill on us. We're riding down the valleys in California and a boulder comes down. You didn't cause that. You were just going somewhere.
But you got to adapt. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when they start, because it resonates with them as they grow.
Right.
Yeah, no question. But to piggyback on what you're saying, Kevin, you raised your children how our parents raised us, right? We all had chores. I could wash clothes at 8. If I didn't wash the clothes on a certain day, and if they weren't ready on a certain day, I couldn't go outside. Right. So there's a negotiation of me starting to understand what my responsibilities look like. And Benji and I were talking a little bit earlier about this older sibling complex. I've got older sibling complex because a lot of the responsibilities of my younger siblings started to fall on me. So I couldn't go outside and hoop or play kickball or do all these other things until my sisters were ready or until they had eaten or until we had cleaned up and all these other things. But the irony of all that is I lost my dad at a very early age, and I changed the role. I became the father too, and then one day you wake up and they no longer need you anymore, and it's like, why are you in my business? I'm like, wait a minute, I've been in the business. I've been in the business for 20, 25 years, and now you're telling me to get about my business. And I think this is beautiful because this question of when you let go is an impossible question, right? You never fully let go, right? We don't want our kids to fail. We want them to flourish. We don't want them to repeat any of the mistakes. So I'm going to call them failure space because I've failed a lot, man. And sometimes, but as an adult, right? Not as a child. And when you have to stand back up, standing back up is very difficult. I mean, I've shed a lot of tears on some things that I felt like it was the right decision. I was taking all the right steps from a due diligence perspective, and then it implodes on me. It becomes a catastrophe. You feel me?
Yeah.
And you just have to learn from that. And I think the thing that we have to continue to do in this life, and we do it with each other all the time, we got to give each other grace. You know, sometimes when you do something to me, I need to step back and say, is this really about me?
Right.
Or is this individual that I really love and care about, are they going through something?
Gotcha.
Because if I show you empathy and come to you and give you a hug and say, what's going on? Do you need me? Should we talk about this? Then we really start to have a deepening of our interpersonal relationship with each other. And I think that's what it is, right? The role has to shift, and we don't necessarily ever lose our role as parents, but we got to be a friend to them, a consultant, a confidant, and say, I love what you did, but I personally would have probably done it this way. And so, you know, to determine how it shakes out, right?
Right. So we become an advisor.
We really do.
We become an advisor.
The foundational elements are there. Like that's their childhood and their chores and
Right.
getting up on time, making practice on time, doing your homework, coming home, cleaning your room.
So
like,
that's my question. So when do what age group do we become an advisor? As opposed to, is it 19?
You've
Is
been
it 18?
advising,
'cause
you've been advising their whole entire life.
I got you.
have
Okay.
been, but you are when you remove the role of parent, it's after they've had life experience.
Yeah.
It's not 19.
Yeah.
We weren't adults at 19. We were still making mistakes. It's about 28.
Okay.
It's about 28 when you now, depending on the maturity of the child, you
Okay.
can release with one probably earlier than the others.
Right.
But it's about 28. But we never relinquish.
No doubt.
Yeah,
And-
I'm about to be 54. I talk to my dad every day, my
That's
mom
a-
and my dad.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I talk to them every day.
Yeah,
And my dad's
man.
saying is awareness through exposure.
Yeah.
So they have
But
to be
you know what,
exposed to
Rhonda, your
that.
father is
Yeah, my father
the
is the cream of the
easiest
crop.
person to talk to. Like it doesn't matter. Like if I went to your father and said, hey, Mr. Crawford, I just robbed a bank. I got away, but somebody saw me. He's going to make me feel like that was okay.
No, he's not.
Yes,
gonna
he
make you feel
is.
like it's okay.
He's going to break it all the way down and
But
make
you
me
making
feel
a point of reference back to your question of when did you know to let go, right?
Yeah, right.
See, it's the delivery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you're able to deliver to the kids that you're about to let go in that type of fashion,
Right.
it's easier for them to accept.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Like I've been loving on you for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go turn yourself in. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Go turn yourself in.
I don't know if your dad going to tell me to turn myself in.
Turn yourself in.
He said, "Turn yourself
He going to be like, first of all, he going to be like, are you okay? Are
That's
you
right.
safe?
That's right. You need a couple
After, are
minutes.
you safe?
Yeah.
It might be,
It's-
how much money did you get?
Give me a couple minutes.
It's not. It's not. Without using any names, just an example, a friend of mine was telling me how she pretty much had to let her daughter kind of live with a minor mistake that she made. They're going on a trip, and she cannot attend because she lost her passport. And I'm coming up with all types of, well, she can go to Detroit and get a new passport, and she can do this.
Right.
And she was like, no, she can learn from the fact that you have to be responsible,
Right.
and you just don't have to chuck it up. You lost your passport, and you don't have it, so you can't go on this trip. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I would have been.
But see, right
See,
there, there's
that's-
two different parent perspectives.
I know.
She's
but I
going to
understand
do
that
what we
sometimes-
all really think and should do.
I know.
Right.
But
She
as a
definitely
mom
did.
and
She
nurturing, you're going to, make it seem like, hey, I'm gonna make sure you get on this trip.
I
How do
know.
we?
Yeah.
So
but I see her point.
is that wrong?
I wish I could do that.
I don't
And
think
she's
it's wrong, right?
She's
Because
right.
is it nurturing or is it enabling, right? Just because nurturing isn't positive, there's a lesson in this. My first question would have been like, why do you have your passport out in the States anyway?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Where's your ID, right? And that passport is a valuable document. That's like money, right?
Yeah.
Like I just lost a bag a couple nights ago, 2 brims in it, nice pair of flip flops, about 50 cigars in the bag.
I wish
And
I
imagine if I didn't buy it. Imagine if I had to go to my parents and tell them I just tricked off that money. I'm probably on punishment. But I bought it. So I'm like, then what can I ultimately do to myself? You
Right.
got to be sharp on your game, baby. Why did you leave that bag there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where, like, all of the trauma that I experienced as a child, like, I would have got a whooping from my dad. I've been on punishment. I've had to do certain things, and things would have been taken from me because I didn't consider the family in losing that money. Like, we need that money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but when I look at us, I truly start to understand that we came from humble beginnings.
Yeah,
Like, it is like I drive down the street every time where I grew up at.
yeah.
Oh my God! If there was no Nationwide Children's Hospital coming into that community,
It would have been.
I wouldn't. There were a couple years ago, I didn't make it off the street. I went about 8:30. Almost didn't make it off the street.
Right.
And one of the dudes I knew his dad. And he said, "Nah, man, that's one of the OGs. Man, he used to live right here." And these is young cats that
Yeah,
have
they don't know-
absolutely
they don't know
no
us. Yeah,
reason
yeah.
to be on me. You know, I ain't looking for nothing but just.
So what's the difference?
But also going back to you asking when do we basically let go?
Mhm.
Another thing is, how do you do this for your child being 25, 30, 32, and now all of a sudden you're like, I'm holding you accountable, I'm changing my ways. So I think it is a lot earlier. Like someone said, 19, you're really not an adult.
Yeah.
But we can't just all of a sudden say, okay, now we're changing and we're
But see,
We're gonna
we
keep it.
were being held accountable at 8, 9, 10.
yeah.
There were certain chores
That's
we
what I'm
just
It starts
saying.
that
To-
early.
to-
I think it starts.
Like it really does,
it
but
really
it's
does.
not like Benji is looking for this black and white answer, right?
And
And
it
it's
isn't.
always
It's
gray.
not.
Right?
See,
It ain't
to be
never
honest
black
with you,
and
there
white.
needs to really be some true specifics in this. So when you say let go, you have to realize you're never going to fully let go.
Never. Okay.
Never.
But you have to departmentalize though. You have to pick what area you're going to let go of, and you need to make them aware of it. So when it's like you need $500 a month, I can only do $250 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are y'all saying that the difference, the way we was raised, and the difference now, how we're raised, or our relationship with our adult kids, is the same as with our parents?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely different.
It's different.
Yeah.
And so the parent today, right? The parent today that has a 3rd grader and a 5th grader, are they raising their child different?
Absolutely.
Well, the parent today that has a 3rd grader and a 5th grader are our children. So those are our
Exactly.
grandchildren, and
Yeah.
they're definitely raising them different.
Okay.
I mean, they live in a whole totally different type of world,
Right.
society.
Okay.
I mean,
And
a
that
lot
matters.
of electronics are raising them. I mean,
Right.
Correct.
I'll say this thing that I see with this system is me being a single guy. I meet a lot of women that are almost dating their children, specifically the male. Like he's that guy for her. And I was just telling sisters earlier, I was like, I'll never win against this child in trying to get to know you. And determine whether or not I'm going to be in a, monogamous romantic relationship with you. This child can't be your child and your boyfriend.
I almost made a comment on somebody's Facebook post, and I decided not to.
Right.
So I was like, that's not my business.
That's right.
But my thought was definitely, this is a little too much. When
That's
it's
right.
just like, no one will ever come before my son. So you obviously don't know the order that it should be
That's right.
placed.
That's right.
God, your husband,
That's right.
and your children.
Right.
So I guess you don't ever plan on getting married, because she straight out said no one will ever come before.
Okay.
And that was a setup question, or that was a setup scenario for y'all, right? Because the trigger there is trauma, right? And Benji keeps going back to, when do we let go? Like, we have a lot of traumas that we don't want our children to experience.
Yo, what's cracking? Listen!
This is Dwayne Carter with Twins Buick GMC. May is the time to buy the car of your dreams for the summer. Only place to buy it is at Twins Buick GMC at 960 Morse Road. My new cars are Buick and GMC. In my pre-owned department, I have every make and model. So give us a call at 614-848-9999 or look us up online at twinsbuickgmc.com. You always win with Twins.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Well, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, we
Absolutely.
don't want our children to go through what the failures or the mistakes, not failures, the mistakes that we did.
right.
Right? So if they get ready to do it and we don't let them, how do they learn from
They
it?
don't, because I was just going to say to you, how did we become the individuals we became? Trial and error.
Yeah.
Right? You stub your
I'm
toe.
still
in
making a
there.
lot of
Exposure.
errors.
So no question.
I'm still
no
making
question. You fail at something one day, you assess, you reassess, you try again.
Right.
Or you don't.
Yeah.
Right. We've got a ton of people in our lives that have stopped living. Right. And the number one thing I tell myself every morning, are you going to exist or are you going to live? Make a decision.
Right.
And I'm trying to live out here, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to live out here,
Right.
right? And I don't feel like there's any other alternative. Like, I'm blessed to have lost my dad at the age I did, because it was very difficult. But I have a zest for life that I don't know that I would have if he was still here, right? Because I had to go through some things that are they're just not describable. That level of pain is not describable. I will be in a straitjacket
Yeah.
when the Lord comes
sure.
and gets my mother. Like, and just, I don't even want to bring this up.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up in spirit of having to watch KK's mother
Right.
at that service. I didn't want to see that. I did not want to see that. And she handled it with such grace and such divinity.
Yeah,
and
she really did.
but when I looked at her, I just said community. And that's another thing that was different in our childhood. Our parents weren't trying to be friends with us.
Well,
Our parents,
right.
the people in the neighborhood weren't trying to be friends with us.
But you look at now how we move and who we. If I go to the Blue Note, I know it's going to be my people. That
Yeah.
how we was probably all raised similar.
No doubt.
Right.
If I go to stuff that we do on our networking stuff, it's people that was raised like us.
What, a Benjamin in business event?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was good. Again, that's how we hang with our peers or people that we pretty much either grew up in the same era or grew up with, and we attached to that. I mean, our Fab 22. I mean, we know we're safe and we love on each other, but we're honest with each other.
So yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And so,
But you know what's scary? And this is, we just have to keep it like 1,000. The scariest dynamic in our society now is the parentless home,
Yeah.
where neither parent's there. In one
Yeah,
way or
raising
another.
themselves.
And so they pretty much, are there, and then this is where the gangs and stuff come in.
Absolutely.
Vulnerable. You want to eat. You want those lights to come back on. So that variance of it is that the stranglehold that they have on the core level, because it's and then it's different. Like when we grew up, people were trying to survive, but they still had morals and values.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah,
you're
there
not
were
going to go
things-
down there and beat up Miss Kelly and rob her.
Exactly.
No, you're not going to do
We're
that.
not going to mess with the church.
She's an
You're not gonna
elder.
do
We're
that.
going to
Yeah.
respect her. We're going to carry her groceries in the house for her.
Right.
We're going to make sure she's safe.
Right.
If there's a
Maybe
fire or
like,
something, we're going to
well,
knock
like,
on her
well,
door.
what's it, no?
Yeah.
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 Principles and things like you would never. Okay, so you rob people, cool. But guess what? certain people had to be off limits.
There's a
Right.
code to it.
Right.
There's a code
Wow.
to it.
And the
Absolutely.
church is off limits.
Absolutely.
No,
Just
it's
to
fine.
go up there. Matter of fact, y'all need to go take something up there to the church.
Right.
But see, this is accountability, right? Well, this is what we're talking about. This we were raised with consequences.
So
You
you
know.
just think the parents dropped the ball with things of that nature? Why are kids playing the streets no more? Is it just because phones are in their hands and technology? You know,
But how
we
big
didn't
of a
have that.
ball are you talking about? You talking golf ball, baseball, like this size variations to the
Yeah.
dropping the ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not many people. I'm going to say you have to realize if you're used to handling basketballs and someone throws you a golf ball, it might slide through your fingers.
Right.
Ooh,
Okay.
ooh,
Okay.
that analogy was so
Okay.
deep.
Okay.
It might go
Ooh.
boom,
Gotcha.
So you're essentially saying you're not ready. That's what I'm hearing.
because you never seen it coming at you like that.
Right.
Like, you used to it getting bigger as it get closer, and it just keeps being small.
Right.
But still, like this goes back to community. We would be outside all day playing. There's neighborhood watch. You know them nosy neighbors that's telling on everything we doing, and you get back to the crib and the belt is laying on the table, and you trying to figure out, and your parents are saying, "What did you do?" And you know you did it,
Yeah.
but there's some severity to admitting this. Miss Hawkins told me what you was doing. I was a little fire. I was an arsonist. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit burning up
If they had
stuff.
technology, it used to blow my mind how I would do something
Right.
with 45 minutes and all you had was telephones. Bro.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Or there was two things, and I had to consider it. Your uncle came over earlier, and your mom told him what you did, and then he left out into the community. And then somebody finally made the phone call, but then you get home, uncle had already told 15 people. Your mom had already called you. I guess what this boy did.
Yeah.
So boom, you don't even know that.
Yeah.
You show up, and they be in there like this.
There's a whole gang.
My
in
mom
there.
was Dakota. You hungry, baby? You wouldn't even know what was going on. All of a sudden, put some on your. Where was you at today? Know where you was at.
So different times then, right?
Right, man. And that was the community.
So will we ever get back to? I think the new generation, will they get back to raising their kids similar? It just won't even go back,
No,
right?
it's too late.
It's too late.
I'm not going to say it's not going to work for some, but
Right.
for the majority, the way it needs to work, never.
Right.
They're too far gone. Collectively, we can't get them all to do the same things at the same time to invoke that type of change. It's as fast as it's needed right now.
So I believe a technology collapse will help us in that area, right?
But when is that gonna happen?
Somebody gonna get, you know,
When
what I
is
mean?
that gonna
I
happen?
can't use my phone, bro.
Right. That's gonna
I mean-
create a whole nother problem.
Right.
I'll be like,
If you guys really remember in the early 1900s, in our black communities, we were flourishing. You were the dentist, you were the butcher, Rhonda was the hairdresser, I was the carpenter.
Right.
And if you didn't have it financially, there was a barter system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we will never be able to get back to our old fashioned values because those are a thing of the past, right? But still, there are fundamental principles in raising our children. You be respectful of your elders. Like, I call all of my parents' friends aunt or uncle. That's what we do in our community.
Yeah.
We
Well, kids
are,
still do that.
Yeah,
Because our kids have
our
they have a
kids
lot
do
of
it.
aunts and uncles.
Yeah, no question,
Yeah,
right?
aunts, yeah,
So those
uncles
are the
and-
things we have to continue to pass down
Yeah.
to our children, right? Because there is always going to be a percentage of any community that you put an asterisk next to.
Right.
I got some cousins we got to put an asterisk next to.
Okay.
They're never going to adapt to this lifestyle of community, if you will. They'll be outliers, they'll be selfish or whatever. But I don't think we can ever go back. But if we can't go back, then we can improve.
I must say this, because this is abundantly important too. On some real, like, for real.
I'm loving the dictionary.
Like, I know there's different variations to situations where kids, when maybe they had two parents at home, or you
Right.
had lived with your dad or mom, whatever. But at the same time, as you get and become an adult, you're responsible for that relationship as well. It ain't just your mom always got to call you or be looking for you. You have
It's
to
a
work.
two-way street.
It's a two-way street. You're grown now. So you have responsibility for our relationship as well. Ain't always that's that part about being grown, right? Remember when you couldn't do this and now you can do something? So that
Right.
free choice needs to be you understanding the dynamics that going forward as adults.
Right.
You know, you have a responsibility for our relationship as well.
Right.
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 And
Shouldn't always
especially
be
as we
calling
get
looking
older.
for you.
right? And especially as we get older, the checkup needs to be on them, not on us. But you're talking about engagement, right? But at the same time, like,
because we worry now. Now we figure out
That they used
we how our parents felt. Like when my
no
kids
question.
go out, I worry every day.
No
If I
question.
know they're going
as
out,
we know what this
I'd rather
world
not
is,
even know. But if I know they're out somewhere,
you gotta know, right?
Yeah.
They could
well,
just
there's
be
days that you don't know.
because you might not talk to them that
okay,
day.
right? And
You know what I
and
mean?
you know, we pray, we
Yeah.
pray up, we stay prayed up. But I mean, you could just be sitting in a quick trip and somebody want to light it up,
Right.
Yeah,
like.
but that's
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
never know.
saying. I worry probably way more than I should, but I do. But I just remember my mother at the time. We had pagers.
Oh man.
And we would be at Papa's and we'd be out and she would page me. I promise. I would be in the club and I would call her back
But you're supposed to,
because I didn't want, hey Mom, we good. We be there after we get done.
right?
But I would call her back. Nowadays, man, it's like they don't
Too
want
late.
us
Too
to
many
know.
distractions.
Today.
And
3
they
days
got,
later, I didn't know you called.
Right.
and they got the pager in their hand now.
I didn't know you text
You know,
me. So when we were younger, B, you'll remember this. KP, you might. I used to have to call my mom whenever we went to somebody else's house to tell her where I was.
Oh yeah.
And dudes would be like, "You a punk?" I'd be like, "Have you met my dad?"
Right.
Like, all the information got to do is get back to him that I'm not there on the dime for my mom or my aunts, and it's going to be a problem. And I hated it, but I was a knucklehead. She was worried about how we was
Yeah.
moving around the
No
city,
doubt,
man.
no
You know
doubt.
what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
one of my greatest regrets is having to take her through all of the things that I took her through. You know, and when me and my mom had these deep level conversations, I'm ashamed of the things that I used to do that was hurt my mother. You know what I'm saying? But I owned it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said I'll never do it again. You know, as I travel to all these countries and I'm wilding out, you know, I take a picture and send it to her, whatever. But that's on us too. And I love what you said about it becomes a part of the child's responsibility as well, right?
Yeah.
I've got a very turbulent relationship with my girls, and my middle girl and I were starting to make some progress. And I told her one day, I texted her repeatedly, no response, and she has an iPhone. She could at least like it.
Yeah.
And I sent her a message, and I said, I'm going to be here. I said, but what I need you to start to understand is there are three participants in this story, your mother, me, and you. And I said, you got to start to filter the information that you're receiving from both sides and then spread it out, because the truth lies on both sides. You just can't listen to what's being said and then take that as law. Because when she engaged with me, she was like, I never expected this to be you. I said, well, this is the 50-year-old version of me, right? This isn't the 23-year-old version of me that your mother had to deal with. He wasn't a good dude.
Yeah, we grown.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I should not have been punished for that, right?
Yeah.
So now it's the engagement for me, KP, because that will always be my second greatest failure. It's my children. You know what I'm saying? My mom, hurting my mother will always be number one, because I hate to admit this out loud. I love her more than anything on the earth, including myself.
Yeah.
Everything else is second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like this, I'll probably have to shed a couple tears when we leave here, because like I have to hold myself
I want to
accountable.
say this to you because I love you, but did you hear what Giannis said to that reporter that asked him, did he think this year was a failure? Did you hear what he said?
I did not. What did he say?
He said, I can't believe you're asking me this again.
Yeah.
You see it?
I saw it.
He said, so Michael Jordan played 15 years,
Yeah.
right? He won 6 championships. So were all those other years a failure?
Right. Sometimes you just tip your cap to the better team. That's what you have to do.
But that's what I think what he's saying is that the media is trying to make it something. They
But they're
lost.
always doing that.
And that's what they
lost.
do. They wanted to get something out of him. It was dope though what he said to me because it's a Nike commercial right now.
Yeah, but I mean it's cold though. That's what I'm saying, because it was so paramount because of him being and experiencing to having that pressure to win one. He won one, and then everybody, when they anoint you, like they was the number 1 seed, but then they ran into my Miami Heat. But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
Well,
Jimmy
Jimmy
Buckets.
Buckets is a killer.
Oh, so now we're trying to do two shows.
No,
We're not gonna go.
We're not
I'm back
gonna go
on track, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. That's another show.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Nah.
just think the variance is to go into things is that, man, as long as you're still here and you're able and you're willing to make things right, things could be right.
Yeah.
But-
But
You
and
know what I
then
mean?
also
Everybody has to be
communication.
invested.
Going
Yeah.
back to us talking about not hearing from our children or not.
Right.
That communication is key
Right.
because I know sometimes if I don't get a response, it becomes a threat. I hate to have to threaten somebody, but if I don't hear from you via text or phone call,
right.
there's going to be a problem. So I always have to do that. Benji doesn't send those type of threats.
Right, but you
that
should,
comes
right?
through me.
Because-
But I shouldn't have to do that. But I
Right. That's the mother. You know what I mean?
Mental health wasn't prevalent when we were kids.
know
It just wasn't talked about.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's in the forefront now.
correct.
Yeah.
When certain boys in my life go dark, I'm on them.
Yeah.
Don't let me have to roll
Oh, that's
it in there.
that's
You know
a
what I'm
major
saying?
topic. That's a
Yeah.
passion of mine, this mental health thing, because one of the worst feelings to me is to find out that your children are going through something after they've gone through it, or finding out through someone else because you didn't know. That doesn't work for me.
So, sis, I'm gonna give you the flip side of that. You finding out after they've gone through it, there's a level of growth there.
Yeah.
And then if someone else is telling you, there are other people in our village that are looking after your
No,
babies.
this is like reading it.
Okay, so this was in a newspaper or
that's
something. Okay, yeah, and that's because you
so
want them to
that's-
be able to come to you.
Right, it's
But
that
just as we worry
communication
about
again.
them, they worry about us.
I know, and
We don't wanna
they
put
did
that-
mention that to me. That some things
Yeah,
they don't share, so we don't worry.
but we gonna worry anyway.
Yeah. And then
We
when I
don't
found
worry.
out,
I mean, but the biggest thing is, as long as they communicate.
yeah.
So if they say something, hey, just reply to my text. You ain't even got to call me.
Right.
I know you good, then just reply. But you not replying to a text is at some point is disrespectful.
Yeah,
Okay, so
but
let
it
me
is
give you an
growth.
example of something, and maybe I don't know. So they're in Miami.
Okay.
They already live and kicking it. And for some reason, you woke up and decided to text them at 11 or 12, like they're gonna respond to your text, and you know they're in Miami kicking it.
No.
You have to be a little patient.
Oh, patient.
I'm
what,
just saying
3
sometimes.
3 days, 4 days?
2 days to 3 is max.
Okay.
No, it's too long, KP.
So,
it's
so,
too
so,
long.
that,
Where's your phone?
It better be.
Where's your phone
It better
at?
be.
You must be one of those guilty of not.
Yeah, he don't be
Sometimes
saying
they don't even know.
that.
You have to realize sometimes the phone went dead because of a long night. You don't even know where your
Okay,
phone
what if
is.
it's a pattern? All the time?
Then it's a pattern.
Okay. So
That's
he's
if you want me to.
definitely
You
one
want me
of
to
those
answer the
guilty.
question? If that's someone's pattern, you should know that's their pattern.
But you know what? I am happy to say that a conversation, just like Benji said, a conversation can change that. Because
Yes.
again, we had
Correct.
beautiful time communicating with our adult children.
Yeah, it was the first- it was the first conversation
time
ever.
we've done
Oh,
this.
no. I mean, it got
And
real.
It really, yeah. Everyone opened up. It was just no shame, no blame. But these
This
are
is
the
just
issues.
how I'm feeling.
Yes,
Yeah.
these are the issues.
Right or
Everyone
wrong.
had an opportunity to talk, and we've literally seen a change in everybody, including
I love
ourselves.
it. I
So
love it.
that is important. Sometimes you have to call a town home meeting in your own home.
yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
And we all got to get better. Like when we're together, we just, how you feeling? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just a
no
mental
doubt.
health check-in.
Yeah.
Pull each other
Really
off to
how
the
it's
side.
feeling.
Give each other a hug.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything I can do to help? Like,
Yeah.
like, and
Without
that
putting
is
someone on blast.
correct, right? There's this sense of just, I don't know. I'm trying to put this together. Love is undefeated, right? So I don't see y'all for 2 weeks and then we at Beeline and I hug y'all like my endorphins are off the charts.
Right, right.
And I'm like, I freaking love these people. Like
Yeah.
I love this dude. That's my brother.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I don't check in with y'all all the time,
Right.
but I hit KP up. I need a T-shirt. So done.
Yeah.
Checking on y'all, where y'all at? Boom, y'all going back to
Yeah.
here? Can I meet y'all there? Like when y'all going back over here?
So
We're
I
adults.
think, yeah, but I
you
think
know?
the growth of us growing through what we went through is bringing us to where we at today.
Absolutely.
Right. And we have
Right.
to allow our young and adult
Absolutely.
children to do the same thing.
Right.
We have to think back of when we were the age that they are.
Absolutely.
We've done some things as well. So,
Well,
like
even
you
with our
said,
grandchildren, we watching our kids raise our grandchildren. We're not going to correct the way they are raising their
Right.
children in
Just
front
put
of
some
them.
input in.
No.
But we need to advise them in a healthy way to say, hey, you remember when I used to do this with you?
Right.
You know, and so it's tricky, but As parents, we got to do it.
But back to you, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But back to you. Like, you do reach out and kick it, but then even those times when you slide in and you don't kick it, all I know is I go downtown, I see some buildings knocked over. Like Godzilla, I saw Keith must have came to town. You know how you know when Godzilla came to town?
Or the
Keith must-
funniest thing is we're
Keith
somewhere,
must have been in town.
we're somewhere and he walks in and everyone's like, I didn't know he was back.
Right. He's always back.
Yeah, he's back.
He's always back.
This city has my heart, man. I just can't deal with these winters no more. But it's because y'all here.
It's spring now.
I got on a windbreaker and I'm freezing, acting like you, sis.
I've changed. I've improved.
But I mean, I have hope for our future because of people like us.
Yeah.
Because we can think critically and we can have this level of discussion and we can admit that we have things going on in our internal families that aren't fruitful, and normally we would cover it up. Like when we were little boys as men, you couldn't have emotions. I remember when my father passed away, all these dudes said I was a punk, right? All these older dudes that I looked up to because I was crying. But I said to one of my cousins, you got 10 kids and you don't take care of any. So am I really the punk?
Right.
You feel me? Like you're supposed to be a leader for me. Like you can't be 10 years older than me and I'm lapping you in life.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
holding in those emotions is a whole nother cause of mental health. That
And-
mental
and-
health
and
and
our
wellness,
overall
if you
health,
hold it
right.
in, you're going to explode.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that's
sometimes
that pressure.
my question to you was, who do I talk to then all the time? Like, who do I unload that onto?
Whoever you can trust, it may
Okay.
not be
Or a
a
therapist.
parent. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay to lay on the couch and talk to someone. Now they have them online. You don't even have to go and lay on the couch.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'm gonna tell Billy all my secrets
hey,
and what I'm
if,
feeling.
If it helps you,
Billy Hoyle.
You know what? Even back in the days, I really like. Right now, I'm having euphoric recall because it's like I remember how my like there was like we used to be at my grandma's house every day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even my mom, when she got off work, she'd go to my grandma. That's worse. So the foundation piece has been crumbled.
No question.
right?
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah. But it's crazy you say that because that's my mom's house now.
Yeah.
All my nieces and nephews,
Towards grandmas.
even that's
Yeah.
where they hang out at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Because
know
it's
what I mean?
love there, man.
Yeah.
It's security
And when I was
there.
growing
It's
up, I was at my
comfort
grandmother's
there.
house. So I get it, and now I'm seeing it. You made me think, but now, Josh, Justin, their friends, Freddie and Amani, they all hang out at my mother's house, which is their grandmother.
I think we really need
So-
to, we need to pick a theme for the next podcast, but I would like it to be the destruction of the black family, right? So
Okay.
when we were slaves, we were married. There was a hierarchy. But as we started to come up and they started to destroy the black family, the grandmother became the nucleus of our families,
Okay.
right? Our men were either in prison, in jail, or in jail, not here, or kicked out of the home so that the woman could get money, to raise the children, right? And this game is wicked, man.
Here's the dynamic I want you to think about when I said this to you.
Okay.
Because that was their plan.
Yeah, no
For it to
question.
fall on the grandmother. You know why? So her life expectancy was going to be a lot shorter. And then who after her?
The mother.
That's why grandmas then was dying of heart attacks back then because they taking care of 17, 18 kids in the
That's
house
right.
and ain't nobody helping them.
That's right.
Boom, now she's gone. Now they're out here in society.
And they exploited us.
It was
yeah.
like, we got them because it was a numbers game.
No question.
But I think that's why us as a people, it's like it's normal for us to navigate and fight through anything that's put up against us because of what
We're natural fighters.
Yeah, we're natural
They
fighters.
put us in that
Our
situation.
whole lineage has been fighting and going through stuff. You look at, opening up a business. They take us through so many hoops for what?
No question.
And then they turn around and give it to,
No
their peers like it's nothing.
No question.
So I think as,
Did you hear
as
what
people,
Did you hear what? And I had to agree with this guy, and he said, and it's just the truth. He was like, he broke it down. He said, all these white billionaires, they employ thousands of white people. They put on thousands of these white people. If they're billionaires, they got a whole plethora of people under them that are hundreds of millionaires and millionaires.
Yeah.
Keep
Who's
the
doing
money
that
in
in
the
our
family.
culture? Who is that person? Yeah, you can get back to colleges. See, that's why I'm letting everybody know. If y'all can help me get $1 billion, I'm gonna help everybody get $1 billion.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's right.
Just so y'all know.
Right.
Because you'll never lose. Because if you
Somebody
lose
gotta
everything,
get
one of
there.
them millionaires in there is gonna happen.
Then everybody, that would be, you got people sitting at a table, they worth $1 billion, and you work for me, you worth 250,000, you worth 75,000. Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
come on.
Spread the wealth.
But I think too, the more you help and use people to help you helping them, that's when you had the most success.
No question.
You know what I mean? It's
No.
always a team. It's always somebody around you that's helping you. But somebody got to be first. Somebody got to get there first. So let's get a team around us to get us there first, and then we on to the next person. So
No question.
And I'm gonna say this because I do these these analytics. Like, then there's certain things socially that we can do. Like right now, we can sell 100,000 of these T-shirts right here. We can sell 100,000 of these T-shirts right here. This
Yeah.
community dynamic that's really important for all of us in every community. Like, we need to infuse love in the community.
No
I'm just
question.
trying to help us sell 100,000 of them for $20. See, that's $2 million. See, now I can help somebody, help you, help us, and we all help each other.
That's right. You can be funding some small businesses. You fund a vegan restaurant so I can start eating better. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
All of the greatest things
It's
in the
all
world
in-
came from an idea, right?
It's real.
Right.
Creativity.
Somebody said you could be talking about it. That's
Yeah.
why I commend you because
Yeah.
I sit back. I know when you're ready to do whatever. So
I
it's
mean,
cool.
and he is
But
like,
when you
it's
get
like he's
ready,
lit, like
when
he's
you
on fire,
when he
like-
set you on fire,
Right. There's no stopping.
he was like, text me, bro. I'm like, I don't even know what he talking about, but I'm gonna click. I'm learning things. He got me learning things too.
One thing about him is there's only, this is the third thing. The first thing was the barbershop. The second thing
and I got
was,
that from him.
the second thing
Did
was
you have the same
lawn
guy
care.
working with you that I had working with me?
Wait a minute,
Yeah,
wait. We had
I'm sorry.
the barbershop, then the lawn care, and then this. the
Right,
pocket.
right.
When I
So-
say from the beginning, when he has the idea, he's like a motor mouth. He's not gonna stop talking about it.
I love
right?
it, bro. I
Right?
love it.
And then he's gonna put things in place to get it started, and then it's gonna take off.
Well, listen.
And that's what has happened.
Thanks y'all for giving me that time. We're gonna wrap up with that. That's a good topic to wrap up on, and I like the idea for the next one.
Okay.
I definitely do. So let's wrap up on that and call it today.
That's what's up.
All right, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Yeah.